Hi, welcome back. Yeah, it's January 31. It's actually close to New Year's Eve and fireworks, but yeah, I'll make the time for a short little video about the HP Omen graphic card. So there's a lot on internet about what kind of graphic card is in the HP Omens. Most people, I think, know by now it is an OEM card. So that is the GPU OEM, and we're gonna talk a little about that, and we're gonna look at that. So I just wanna say, many, at least I didn't know, and I hope I'm not the only one. I mean, what is an OEM? What OEM mean? What is that? What is like HP OEM GPU compared to an MSI GPU? OEM is actually original equipment manufacturer. So it generally it's preserved as a company that produces non-aftermarket parts and equipment. So it is an OEM is they basically need to follow Nvidia's card basically. So Nvidia have their own line of cards. It's called Founders Edition. I'm not sure what it's called in AMD, so I'm not going to talk about that because I really don't know much about the AMD GPUs or Intel GPUs for that matter. So I'm going to focus on Nvidia, and that's what most have in the HP Omens. So yeah, basically the card used in the HP Omens, they are they are different ones. You have 3060, 3050, and so on. Some even with the 20 series, but most is Nvidia GPUs. So yeah, that how it is, and so we're gonna have a little look at that, and yeah, I mean it is called HP Omen OEM Geforce 3080 RTX 3080. That's the card I have in my computer now. So yeah, it have a different name. It's not MSI, it's not Asus, it's not EVGA, it's not those brands. So I don't know 100%, but I have been looking at it a little, and I'm gonna show a little in this video. So yeah, we have an OEM card. Is that good or is it bad? Well, let's see and what we can find out. So as you see here, it says HP RTX 3080 LHR OEM. Now that is the one that have the LHR on it, and then you have that one under it say HP RTX 3080 OEM. That's open. That's the one that I have. Now here you can see like 1440 megahertz, 1710 megahertz, 1188 megahertz. So yeah, it's that's the megahertz on the HP graphic card, the OEM graphic card. Now if you look at under, you have something called Inno 3D. I don't know how that is. I just saw it under here on that table I found. So here you see the HP is 7010 and this one is 1770. So it's 60 megahertz higher on one of these measurements. So you do apparently get from different cards a little different megahertz. But yeah, now we're going to look at another one just to compare a little here. Give me a second and we look at that. So yeah, here we see another one. So we still see in very tiny the HP RTX 3080 OEM. But here in this new one I pulled up, you can see Nvidia GeForce RTX 3080 Founders Edition. That has the exact same 1440, 1710, 1188 megahertz. It's exactly the same specs as the OEM card. So basically, from what I understand, I have been reading about it, and like I say, I'm not an expert, so this is kind of my understanding only. So bear with me, even if I'm wrong. But yeah, an OEM is a product like that need to be more or less exact as the original. So it is a original equipment manufacturer, and that means original equipment. So in cars, that would be like you let's say you buy a Mercedes. Now the exhaust system, the exhaust pipes, they are under the car, and an original will have a stamp on it. It will say Mercedes on the exhaust pipe. Now you can have the exact same factory making the exact same pipe, exhaust pipe, cheaper, because they don't have the stamp. It doesn't say Mercedes. It doesn't say Toyota or any other names. It's just blank. That's an OEM, right? So it's the same material made in the same factory in many instances, not always, but many. They have to follow the specifications down to the bottom, basically. They have to do exact same as the original. That's an OEM. Now you have others that put on maybe like hard spin guys or something, make an exhaust that also fit on Mercedes, but that is called a third party. So if you look at then Asus, MSI, EVGA, and that, it say on the graphic card Asus, MSI, that is actually a third party graphic card. OEM is a replica, is actually a true replica of the Nvidia GeForce Founders Edition. And because it is an OEM, it's not allowed to put the Nvidia name on it. So they basically just call it OEM. So my graphic card, it's just say RTX GeForce. It doesn't say any name. It doesn't say OEM. It doesn't say HP. It doesn't say anything. It just say GeForce RTX. Simple. That's it. There is no brand, because it is a true replica, and because if HP would have the name Nvidia on that graphic card, they had to pay Nvidia a shitload more of money so they could have the name Nvidia on the graphic card. So you will only see the Nvidia Founders Edition with actually the Nvidia name on it. Yes, I know if you buy the package, you say Nvidia on it, yes, and RTX and so on, because they use the chip. But when you take out the graphic card and you look at it and you put it in your computer, only Nvidia Founders Edition will say Nvidia. Every other will say MSI, Asus, Gainward, and you know all these names, EVGA, and yeah, you have these big ones. So yeah, those are the names. Yeah, and that's how it is. So the OEM is a true replica of the Nvidia Founders Edition, and you can see the specs are also exactly the same. So the quality, I don't know. I read on internet, some say the OEM card is actually very good quality, like the Founders Edition. So I only had my card now for yeah, about a year or a little over a year. So I'm very happy with it so far. Nothing, no problems, nothing. Everything worked as smooth as butter. And so I think my graphic card, even if it is an OEM, I think it will last long. I think it is a card that will live long, a good quality card, I think, because it is OEM. So yeah, let's have a little look at the card itself, and see how it look. Like I said, so yeah, we're gonna just look at that. So this is the 3080 HP 3080 OEM that I have, RTX 3080 OEM HP. So that is the graphic card I have. It have 3 fans. You can see inside, you can see it straight away on the photo here, a copper inside and some aluminium and copper. So it is not it doesn't, yeah, it doesn't look like the cheapest build in that way. But yeah, you get those MSI and Aces. They have a little bigger case, maybe sometimes have a little bigger fans, more cooling. They are overclocked when you get them and so on. So you get different ones. But in the end, a 3080 is a 3080. If you buy OEM, if you buy MSI, or if you buy Palette, or if you buy Inno 3D, or if you buy you know, EVGA or MSI or Gainward, it's all 3080s, simple as that. They have to follow, they have the chip, everyone got the chip from Nvidia that they put in there, and they have to follow some like set of rules to be allowed to call it a Nvidia 3080. So they cannot deviate too far from that. So even there are some tweaks and this and that and design differences. The technology in itself cannot differ too much because it is from Nvidia. If they differ, if they actually tweak it too much, Nvidia wouldn't allow them to call it Nvidia RTX 3080. So it's a lot more similar than it is different. It's actually not those big changes. I have read there is cooling differences, and that could be true, like bigger fans, better cooling, and stuff like that. So that is allowed. But when it comes to the chip and the technical stuff, you cannot change, because then it's not a Nvidia RTX 3080 anymore. So they are not allowed to do that. So like I said, the cards in itself, the tech wise, has to be the same from Nvidia. If not, they are not allowed to call it Nvidia RTX 3080. So a 3080 is a 3080 no matter what brand or card you buy. Simple as that. But there will be some differences from the brands. I saw also one that said basically everything else, then except from the Nvidia Founders Edition, everything else is basically technically an OEM GPU or a graphic card. And that you could say, but as long as they put the name MSI, Aces and all that out, everyone else call it a third party. So you have Nvidia Founders Edition, that is like the #1, that is the original. Then you have the OEM, that is a replica, but it has to stay true to the Founders Edition. And then you have EVGA, MSI, Asus, Palette, Gainward, all these that have their own brands, and that is a third party basically. So they can deviate a little more than the OEM cards. So yeah, that's what I have found out. If I'm correct, I think I'm on the correct path. I'm not gonna say this in stone is the hard truth and correct, but it is something in these lines. I think from what I have researched and read on the internet, and I think it's quite nice for people to know. You buy an HP Omen, you get a graphic card. What kind of graphic card? Yeah, I have Nvidia. Yeah, basically, because it is a true replica from Nvidia Founders Edition. Exact same specs. There is no deviant in the megahertz or anything like that. It is exact same. So it is, I think, a long-lasting card. I think the OEM get a little what should I say, I think they get a little worse reputation than they should have. I think actually probably the OEM is a little better than many actually say. So when you have something that has to be the same as the Founders Edition, then of course it has to be quite good, and I think so at least. So yeah, I think that a little bit about the HP Omen OEM Geforce RTX 3080 or 3070 Ti or 3070 or 3060 Ti, whatever, because it doesn't matter if you have the 3050, 3060, 70, 80, 90. It is HP Omen OEM RTX Geforce OEM. So it is in that sense the same, but yeah, of course you get 3050 and 3080 is not exact same card, but they have to make it according to Nvidia's like this 3080 to Nvidia Founders Edition 3080, and of course the HP Omen 3050 have to be same as Nvidia RTX Founders Edition 3050. So yeah, it's same like that. So I think it's nice to know. I think it is a video that is a little important, because I've seen a lot of people have been asking about what kind of graphic cards are in the HP Omen, who make them. I'm not 100% sure, but I did come over a video. I can't find it again. I do not remember who it was, but I do remember he said the HP Omen OEM graphic card was made by Foxconn. Foxconn is a Taiwanese company. They have a factory in China. They have been making graphic cards, was it since 2006 or something? Quite long. I'll just have to check here quick and see what I can find. So I will just look real quick here and see if I can find it. No, I don't see that now, but I think I remember correct that the Foxconn started with they are huge on making motherboards, and I think they started with making GPUs in 2006, so they will by now in 2022 have a very long experience in making GPUs, and they are Taiwanese, same as TMCAS, yeah, the ones that make the chips for Nvidia and AMD and Intel and Apple and so on. So these are all Taiwanese companies, and yeah, but some of them do actually. I saw many of these GPU manufacturers actually have their factory in China. So many GPUs are made in China but the company is from a Taiwanese company. Simple as that. So many are made in China, and yeah, so that's it. So I mean, I think then people know more about the HP Omen GPU. Foxconn seem to be the one that make it for HP, and of course they get a license and everything from Nvidia, and they have a cheaper edition. Simple as that. The OEM is cheaper because you know they are not allowed to tweak it as much as the others, and they probably have a different deal from the OEM and the third party GPUs like MSI and Asus and so on. So that's, you know, HP probably pay less, and then they're not allowed to do much, so it's pretty standard. Doesn't mean it worse in any way, doesn't mean it's a bad card, just that, you know, they pay cheaper and they have to do it differently, whereas MSI, Asus, they can tweak more, they change the design more, they put on RGB lights, bigger fans, more cooling paste and so on, and they overclock it, and which OEM is not overclocked when you get it. So they do things like that, yeah. So they probably have to pay more for be allowed to do those things. Yeah. So that how it is, and I'm not gonna say anything sure here. I saw like one video, and it could very well be that it is Foxconn that make the GPUs for HP. I'm not going, because I only see it one place, and it's very hard to actually find out who is making this. So I'm not gonna say anything for sure. I'm just gonna say it could very well be, that it is Foxconn that make the GPU for HP. I'm not saying it is, because I cannot say that for sure. I really don't know. I don't have the evidence for it. I cannot prove it, so I cannot say that. So that's why I say it could be Foxconn. So because I saw one YouTuber clearly say that. So I'm not gonna be very hard on that. Like I say, it is possible it is Foxconn that make it, and then people know a little more about the HP Omen GPU, the OEM. This is the 3080 that I have, so naturally I've been talking a little about the RTX 3080, but these same specs and things that I showed now will apply for a 3070 from HP Omen, from 3060, 3060 Ti, 3070 Ti, 3080 Ti, 3090, and so on. So it will be the same, similar, but you need to look at what you have, basically. So yeah, that's it for today. This is my last video in 2022. Please remember to subscribe. Please remember to like, and see you again in the next year. And yeah, I hope you learned a little bit about HP Omens and what's in them, and that it's actually very solid and very good pre-built computers. They actually have good solid stuff in there, and yeah, I mean, the best one to buy, HP Omen 45 liter, simple as that. If you can afford it, then buy it. Hell, it's an amazing computer. So again, this is about HP that I know the best, and I cannot talk about stuff I don't know. So yeah. So again, I wish all of you a happy new year. I wish you a great celebration wherever you are. Some may have started, some maybe are starting in 1 hour or two, and so on, because right now New Year's are happening around the world, and somewhere they already did start. So yeah, happy new year everyone, enjoy, and be careful, and see you again next time. Remember to subscribe and like. Thank you.